like glowing. If you're getting them, I'm getting them. Hi, hello, and welcome to Bookish Life.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Tori. And today we're going to be talking about working in the bookish industry.
Yes.
Book world, book industry, doing all the things from content creating, being an influencer, to working with authors, to working with other industry professionals. It's a lot. There's a lot that you can do. So basically, if you didn't listen to episode 2 of our podcast, we talked about like how we got here. That's basically how we got to this podcast as a content creator, as all of those things. So if you want like a more background for like content creation wise, go check out that episode if you haven't watched it or listened to it. If you haven't listened to it, go check it out. But yeah, this one we're going to talk about working in the bookish industry.
Yep. How we got started, what we did before, what we do now.
Yeah. Because we're now full-time people in the book industry, which is crazy to think about, honestly.
Which is exciting. And it's bizarre because neither of us anticipated this. And we pretty much went on this journey at the same time.
Yeah, unintentionally at the same time.
Yes.
We went on it. Like I said, everything about content creation, being an influencer, we both are. Jess has been one for a decade now, which I love saying that because it makes you seem so old. I mean, you are 30 now.
To be fair, I'm only a year older than you are.
Literally
30. Only a year older than you.
You're 30.
I am.
I've been doing this for like 3 years, so I'm definitely a baby. Like, who am I, right? But I've come a long way.
Yeah.
As a content creator influencer. Like, I get packages and I'm like, who am I?
Yeah.
I still cannot believe that. It's so bizarre to me. Do you ever feel that way still as a content creator?
No. Is that bad to say? No.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been receiving packages since my blog, which was 2011.
So it's just normal for you now.
Yeah.
I mean, I aspire to be that, but you get a lot. I don't know if I can handle that, all the amount you get, because then I feel guilty if I can't read them. Do you ever feel guilty?
Yes, but if it's unsolicited, like I didn't ask for it, it showed up. And I've emailed certain publishers saying like I don't really read like YA anymore because I read a lot more YA when I first started. Yeah. Then to make sure like I just want to be taken off your list so I'm not like wasting your resources and your books.
And they still
send it. Occasionally I'll also go to YA book. Yeah.
They probably just keep you and be like, hey, if you want to check this out.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, as a content creator, we do sponsorships.
Yep.
Which is part of like, if you don't know that, part of how we make money.
Yep.
Which that's the part we didn't talk about and like how we got here because that's more like making money wise. Yeah. We just talked about like.
It's just part of our YouTube journey.
Yeah. But like, you know, ad revenue off of YouTube.
Yep.
Depends on your views, depending on your following.
Fluctuates every month.
Yeah. You have almost 70,000 subscribers on YouTube.
I do.
Which is crazy.
It is crazy.
But I have 8. Which, I mean, I am very happy with that. Like
that's amazing.
But it's not a competition. Like I don't see it as a competition.
No, not at all.
Comparatively, even though we do post similar videos or like videos or stuff like that. Like I don't see it as a competition at all. No. Even with other content creators.
No.
Because it's like people watch who they want to watch. And who they find interesting.
And it's more like we all want to boost each other. It's not like we're competing with each other for something. Like we have nothing to compete over.
Yeah.
We're all
like we all
supporting
do
each other.
And booktube, like collabs and read-alongs. I think I already said that. Book clubs. Just random stuff anyway with like random different people. Like
someone's success is not going to take away from your own. So
yeah,
you're not competing.
So no, but yeah, sponsorships we get outside of ad revenue. So like someone will reach out and be like, hey, I want to sponsor this video.
Yep.
More recently, authors have been doing that.
Yeah.
Where they reach out, like you have a marketing person that will reach out and it's like, hey, do you want to sponsor this? Author will sponsor a video. You can send your media kit and then they'll give you a rate based on like your media kit, based on your following and all that stuff like that. And then, you get paid per video to like do an item.
Yes, but you obviously have to disclose. So anytime we're ever sponsored, 100% we say, thank you so much to so-and-so for sponsoring this video.
Yes.
It'll have the paid promotion toggle in the top. Anything else we talk about that we don't say that, it is not sponsored.
Yeah. And it's usually like just that book or like we'll say that, but then I'll say like, okay, let's move on. Or like Ana Luisa. Yeah. I recently worked with Ana Luisa. They're really sweet.
Yeah.
I like them.
So it's not just books. It'll be jewelry. It'll be glasses. It'll be different companies.
But this is the thing. Like a glasses company reached out to me. I don't wear glasses. Like you can do blue light glasses. I'm like, I will not wear blue light glasses.
So we also get offers that we might not take because we think about what do we personally
like I never want to just take personally, this is just me. I don't ever want to take something that I feel like I'm not going to be like authentic in promoting. Like glasses, like I could definitely do that and do blue light glasses.
Yeah.
But I'm literally never going to wear them. They just bug me. I can't stand. I don't wear glasses all the time like you do. Like I just can't. It just I would never.
But
do that.
like these were sent to me for free. I wear them every day.
Yeah,
they're my favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you promote stuff like that. What did you do? You'd like a meal kit service one time?
Every plate?
Yeah. Those were cute vlogs to watch.
Oh, thank you. I liked them a lot too.
But yeah, I try and incorporate into vlogs. We try and incorporate into recommendations videos, other videos, stuff like that.
Yep.
So yeah, they pay you whatever your rate is. You can do I don't do Instagram, but you do some Instagram, right?
I've done a couple.
Yeah.
Mostly people want YouTube.
Yeah. What about TikTok? Has people ever reached out to you for TikTok?
No.
No. Yeah.
No. I feel like I've gotten a couple where I'm like not interested in working with them for a TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
So I've said no. So I've never like accepted a TikTok.
Yeah.
Sponsorship.
Yeah. How else can you make money on YouTube? With an ad revenue, sponsorships,
memberships and Patreon.
Which you have a membership.
Yep.
And Patreon.
So like instead of having everything as tiers on Patreon, my lower tiers are my channel memberships.
Because you had that first.
Yes. And then my highest tier is just Patreon.
Yeah. And I just have a Patreon because I started with just that because I watched Jess do it and I was like, I can do that. Yeah, I have that. We both have those.
Yeah.
Which is, we kind of do stuff together very rarely. Like we'll post a video like if we're together. Like an exclusive video.
Like we're doing that next.
Yeah, like we're filming that to post on our Patreon. But that's more like separate. So like you could join Jess's and you'll get like more inside her life.
Yep. Exclusive videos.
Yeah, stuff like that. Early access. We all have different tiers and like what they do. And we do different things and stuff like that just based on what we want to do and what our following is. So outside of that, after that, we started Forever and Always PR.
Yes.
Which I feel like since we started, a lot of people have asked us about Forever and Always.
Yeah.
But there's an audiobook promotion company. Work with authors.
Because we saw a lot of authors would be like, hey, guess what? Like my audio came out. And you're like, okay. And they don't really do a lot to get the word out there. They don't have like an ARC team for their audio because it's such a different release. So we are avid audiobook listeners and we want to do something.
And we have a lot of friends that exclusively for a long time only listen to audio, whether they could not physically read and or they did not have time to physically read. So audiobooks have become a big thing. I feel like in the last 2 years, really, 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
More normalized, people say like audiobooks not reading.
Well, were you listening to audios when, what is it called? It was Amazon's romance subscription. What was it called? I started listening to audiobooks when I bought my house because I remember listening to them while I was painting. I painted my entire house and I started listening to them. I was like, oh my God, these are so good. And apparently someone found the video where I said, how does anybody listen to it at 2 or 3 times speed? And like, that's how I listen now. When I was getting into it, I guess I only listened at 1 time speed, which I have no recollection of, but it was, I wish I remembered the name. It was basically Kindle Unlimited for audiobooks.
Audible Escape.
Yes. And it was amazing. Obviously it didn't continue because like monetarily, like authors are making no money because their books were like for free and audiobooks are so expensive to produce and stuff. But yeah, I don't even know why I was talking about that. But
that's how you started listening to audiobooks.
Yes.
I didn't start listening until, so like I had, like I've said previously, I had Kindle Unlimited in college. And when I first started living on my own, because I could only afford that $9.99 for all the books. And I read a lot. I read more than, 3 books a month to get to $3.99 each to get to $9.99. But sometimes they had audio in Kindle Unlimited.
True.
So I listened to, like, I would come across books and I would listen to that, like in the like when I worked in the office. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. But that was like the only time that I ever really bought them. I never had Audible. I didn't have a library card, anything like that. So yeah, over time, I've been more of an audio listener. So I feel like we know a lot about audiobooks. Like, don't get me wrong, we're not like a super expert, but we do know a lot.
Yeah.
Which that's why we did Forever and Always, where we specifically focus on audio promotion. Because one, we know how much it takes to produce an audio, especially if an author does it by themselves and doesn't have a company backing them. So we want to be like, okay, let's be strategic in releasing your audio, whether it's already out. We can do like a run with Audible codes. We can do a, before the audio comes out, we can do BookFunnel audio, which is great that BookFunnel offers that. And the author just uploads their book, gives us a link, and we send it out. We manage kind of like the ARC team, the ARC team for each. Like you sign up, we go through, we have certain criteria for reviewers. But one thing being an ARC reviewer, which we have done previously, like a physical ARC reviewer, because I want to talk about this. A lot of people talk about how hard it is to be on an ARC team or like signing up for promotion and all this stuff like that. I feel like we make it very easy to send in your links and send in your links to sign up for a book and send in your links after you review it.
We try to make it as easy as possible for the content creator because we've been on that side.
Exactly.
So we literally have 2 forms: signups when you're done reading the book.
Yeah. And those the signups are, we literally just say, post your Audible if you have an Audible profile. Because if we're using Audible, we want to see your profile. Post your Amazon profile. Post one social media. Like TikTok, YouTube. Goodreads. And we want your Goodreads. So that's the 4 questions. Name and email. And anything else you want us to know. Yep. That's the sign up form. We do send out newsletters. And then for review links, we have like 5 questions. Amazon, Goodreads, social media. We only ask for Audible if we send out Audible codes. And most of the time, if we do Audible codes after release and you got an ALC through BookFunnel, we monitor that via email because we do very limited amounts. So we even ask for like the screenshot of the Audible because sometimes it's hard to send an individual link. So if you can send your Audible, or
I just take your Audible reviewer page, and then we can just find, like, we will dig before we were like, send us this. Like, I'll go look for it.
Yeah. Just because we know sometimes you get busy and you're like, why are you fucking asking all these questions? Like, this is so annoying.
Yeah.
It's just annoying. Like, it's annoying. So we try and make it easy as possible. And we try and be on top of our emails that if you have a question, or like if we notice when you sign up, you like didn't link the right thing and we notice that, but everything else works out, we'll email you and be like, do you have this? Because if you don't, most of the time, if you don't fill it out exactly right, they just automatically deny you. So sometimes if we notice something like, oh, is this your right email? We'll reach out on Instagram and be like, hey, is this your right email? Like, did you misspell it? So I don't know. We just take that extra time, which I'm pretty sure other PR companies do that, like that do physical. But yeah, we thought it would be a good market to go into because no one does that.
Yeah.
Like exclusively for audiobooks. So we wanted to be like, yeah, let's do it. So after we did that, I stopped working. I did my Patreon. I did the Forever and Always, which we've talked about. And then we decided you actually got me in touch with Becca.
Yes. So I was chatting with Becca about working in the book industry back in September, which we said in the last episode. I wanted to quit my job and I knew I should have quit my job a year earlier, but I was like, I'll stick it out. It's fine. Like COVID hit, teaching was horrible. It'll get better. And it never did. So I was a teacher for 8 years and Becca was in town. She's like, let's hang out. And so then I like unloaded my life on her and she was very encouraging and said like, we'll make it happen. We'll let you work in the book world. And then you left your job and Becca and I were chatting and she's like, do you know anybody who needs a job? I was like, and it literally was the week that you left your job. Yeah. I was like, actually, Tori, she is not working right now and she's looking for something new and you should. Did she email you? Like, I don't even remember how that worked.
No, she texted me.
Okay.
I think you gave her my number and she was like, hi, do you have time to chat? And I was like, yeah. She actually did ask me, like, I didn't know what to expect. Like, I know Becca, like, I look up to her. So if you don't know Becca, I don't know what she goes by. She go by her maiden name or her married name?
Both. I think it's like all 3.
Okay. So Becca, she owns Hello Lovely Box, which is a bookish merch company, and they do book boxes, seasonal, trope of the month, specialty, all of this stuff. They do a crazy amount of stuff. And then she also has her editing company, which is Fairy Plot Mother. Now, I started working for her before she launched Artemis Literary, which we'll get into, but her Fairy Plot Mother stuff is crazy what she does. So she's like just super talented. Anyway, I look up to her. I've looked up to her. I met her at Book Bonanza in 2022 when we went. And I was so nervous to meet her. I remember telling you that. You're like, it's just Becca. I was like, but well, it's Becca.
I've known Becca since like 2018, 2019 when I became a rep for Hello Lovely, like really early on. So she's always been just Becca to me.
I know, but like I see her as like this, I just aspire to be her. Like how when she puts her mind to something, she has these huge ideas and I just love that. And I love how like, I don't know, she's just very like thoughtful and creative and anything that she puts her time and effort into, it's very much a whole heart thing. Like she puts everything into it. I don't know. I admire that. Anyway, so when I was like talking with her, she really did ask me like some like hard-hitting questions. Like
it was like an interview.
Yeah, I felt like I was in an interview. And I'm always the person though. Like I'm very honest. Like I won't sugarcoat things. I won't do a lot of that stuff. So when I first talked to her, I said, look, I don't really have experience doing anything like this. If it's not working, you need to tell me it's not working, and I will be totally fine with just letting go.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Well, and you also had an offer for another job.
I did. I had a paralegal job offer literally the same day, like an interview for her. And she wanted me to do kind of social media. She was starting up her own like company. She was a lawyer. She needed a paralegal to kind of do like a mix of different things. And I was like, I mean, I can do it. I've done all of those things before. And I could work from home. So I asked her, I said, are you serious about this? Or because I have another opportunity. And she's like, oh, I'll get back to you in a couple days. So that night I talked to Becca. She's on the West Coast. And she was like, yeah, let's give it a try. I was like, all right, let's fucking do it. And I had to tell that company no, because I couldn't split my time.
Yeah.
I wanted to fully commit. So I started doing what they call Becca Offers marketing analysis, which, did she tell you that's what she wanted me to do? Or she just said I need someone to help me?
I don't remember.
So at first it was just doing marketing analysis. Basically, you read through a manuscript, you pull out teasers and quotes, and it is so fucking hard. I'm grateful because I was ass at it. I still think I'm just awful at it, right? But she really took the time. Like, she threw me to the wolves at first. She was like, try this, try this, try this. And because she has her clients, authors that she works for, I'm very particular. I'm like, I never want her to lose a client because I did something.
Right.
So I was very particular. She took the time to work with me. She gave me all these resources to like build up my knowledge and help me, which I didn't think that she would do. I thought she would just fire me and be like, bye. But she really took the time. So after that, she was like, I need an assistant. What I think it was is she needed someone immediately for marketing analysis. And the goal was to maybe move them into an assistant role for her.
Because she trusted me with my recommendation because she knows I care about her as a person, as a business. I'm not just going to like recommend anybody to her. So she definitely trusted in that sense. But she's like, let's test it out first, see how it works, and then move her into this other role that I really have for her that I really need help with.
Yeah, so that was like May or June or something, because it was around Book Bonanza. That was my last test week, because we did 6 test weeks. And she had me do something called a Clifton Strengths, which apparently is a big thing in the book world, which I never knew. But basically, it just ranks all your strengths. And so like my top 10 was her bottom 10, and my bottom 10 was her top 10. So we complement each other really well. And the middle kind of like worked out, like it's different things. So it was like on paper, a really good match or whatever. So I'm extremely grateful she gave me the opportunity. And I have definitely worked for her and like made her like not more organized because she is, but just like there's things when you run a business you don't like doing.
Yeah.
So I take over the things she doesn't like doing. So I'm not just like an assistant. Like it's just like, oh yeah, I'm an assistant. Like I'm an executive assistant. I like make sure everything is on track for Fairy Plot Mother, which I do all the scheduling behind the scenes for that, making sure that she's answering stuff, keeping her on track, making sure she's okay, she's not overwhelming herself, because it can be easy to do that. You want to say yes to all these authors. And she works with so many amazing people, and she wants to say yes to everyone. But I have to remind her, you can't always say yes, or it has to be not right now. And that's really hard for her to do. But it's like, it's either that and you overwhelm yourself and then you ghost and then you just, don't do anything for 2 weeks or whatever, a week or a day. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that. And I love doing that. Like that's kind of where my paralegal stuff comes in, where I love being like kind of an assistant to someone and like helping them maintain and grow and like executing things that they don't have time for or they don't want to do. But also I help How Lovely, which kind of came after my 6-week period. Like I didn't step into that. So yeah, I started doing that for How Lovely. And I mostly just keep them on schedule, like executive assistant stuff, operations. That's what Brandon says. Oh, that's my title. I don't know. I do a lot of different things.
You have no title.
I don't have a title. I just do whatever she tells me. But yeah, and then she decided to do Artemis Literary, which was for Jess.
Well, that's been in the plans for a very long time.
Which I didn't know about, actually.
Yeah. So we had chatted, and that's when like the idea kind of sprang, because I was like, hate my job. I think it'd be, she's like, well, if you could do anything in the world, what would you do? And I was like, I would love to work in the book industry, but I don't want to just be like a normal assistant making like $15 an hour. Like I want to make a career out of it. And so she asked me to go to Vegas with her with Hello Lovely. And I was like, I don't know, because like I can't take a lot of time off of work and I love going to book signings though. And finally I was like, what is stopping me? So I was like, yes, I'll come to Vegas. And that's when she was like, well, I know a couple authors who are looking for people to work for them, and we could turn it into something much bigger than just a general author assistant. And she had these plans to create this course on how to be an author assistant, get all the skills you need, and do an advanced course to get even more skills so that you can be charging more and offering more to your clients. And I was like, I don't know, that scares me. And so, because I'm someone who likes a very like secure job and like retirement and like having plans for everything. Tori's laughing because it's very true.
Very true.
And so I initially was like, I don't think I can do that. But then I was like, oh my God, I hate my life though. Like I really, not hate my life, but I was just not fulfilled at work and I just didn't love it. I didn't love going to work every day. I had to drive 35 minutes away every day, and
you couldn't stay home with your
puppies. I was jealous of all my friends who worked from home, like Tori. And so I sat on it, and I feel like it was like February where I was like, let's do it. And so I said I would help create the course. Initially, I wasn't supposed to be helping at all. I was supposed to be just like sitting down, taking it, and just like running. But then I ended up taking a huge role in helping create the course, and that took 4 months.
We got it done in 4 months.
I filmed everything. I did probably 80% of the building of the information of the course myself, which it was really nice that we had Forever and Always because I was doing a lot in tandem with the course. So we were doing ARC team stuff, which we have a course for. So I was doing all that. But then the hard part was like from February to May, I was doing all that while working a full-time job. And starting Forever and Always. But I knew in February that I wanted to quit. So, and I was like, for sure happening. Did not tell anybody until, well, I told my school in March because that's when the hiring starts. And I really loved my school and I loved my admin. And I was like, I want to put them in a really good position because we've had teachers quit in August and they're scrambling to hire someone in 2 weeks. I was like, no, I want to give them like the pick of everybody applying. So I told my school in March, even though I had known since early February. I told my patrons first. I told them in February. So like they were like my therapy, right? It took me a while to tell my parents, but that's a whole other story. So I started working and Artemis didn't really pick up until I feel like May, June is when we were doing most of the work. And I also had an author friend I was chatting with, and she just so happened to need someone to help work with things. And so she's like, I know you're quitting your job. I'd love to hire you for rough like 10 hours a week to work on stuff for me. So that was amazing because it's someone I'm already close with, and it was really fun being able to work with her, and I still work with her. And then Becca had a client who was in need of an assistant as well, who I recently started working with. So I've been very fortunate to have those connections already in the industry and already having, because I mean, we know a lot of authors because we've done author interviews, we are on their ARC teams, we chat with them. So having those connections has really been invaluable to being able to get a job in the bookish community. So I realized that our pathway is not normal. Yeah,
which I realized when we did Artemis, like Jess said she did like 80% of the content, but we gathered a lot of information. It was like making the PDFs and the videos. We had so much information from authors.
Yes.
Like Becca has her whole list of clients that she could, reach out to if she needed to ask, is this correct? Is that correct? Because I'm pretty sure they've had assistants, multiple assistants. And I've realized it's not normal to just have one. Most authors have a team. They have 2, 3, 4 because they work 10 hours a week. It's very rare that you have one person that works a full, like, say, 40 hours a week or 35 hours a week for just one author. They have multiple clients. Or they do something so small, they work 2 hours, 3 hours a week for one client, whether that's social media posting, content creation, ARC team management, social media, like so many different things. And it's so split up. And I didn't realize that until we started doing Artemis Literary, which my job for Artemis is very similar to what I did for Hello Lovely. It's mostly keeping on schedule, doing the updates. I created the website, which I'm very proud of. That website looks absolutely amazing, and I'm just gonna toot my own horn.
It does.
I loved it. So yeah, it was just like all of those different things, like keeping it on track. So seeing that side, I did a lot of the editing too.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, when I say I created like 80% of the content, so many people were involved afterwards. So like, I put all like the basic information together, did all the research. We had tons of authors look through it. Becca looked through it. You looked through it. Sarah looked. Like, so many people were involved. We had an
editor come through, like copywriting or not copywriting, line editor come through. We had like so many different things that went into it. So it was a lot more than I feel like people realize. But we did this because we realized so many people that can just take this course and have all of this knowledge. So authors aren't just hiring someone that is a fan of their books, that is a bookstagrammer, or is a fan in their Facebook group. You know what I mean? Because I worked as a PA. I didn't mention this, but I worked as a PA back in 2018 before I even watched BookTube, before I was an influencer or anything. And I was just in her author group, or in her Facebook group, because I was such a fan. I started as a beta reader for her because I loved her stuff and I could keep up and she could rely on me, making sure everything looked good. If I saw any errors, which I don't know why I did that because I'm horrible at spelling, but like flow wise. And then I started doing her ARC team stuff, her social media stuff, her management. So like I had that kind of like information and like that experience. And I only worked like, I don't know, 10 hours a month for her. And she wanted to do most of everything else because she was just very hands-on.
It varies by author too, how much they want to give to someone they hire versus what they do themselves. So
yeah, so like with Artemis, it's like either you have this person that you just pick up off of Instagram or Facebook that's a fan and you have to teach them everything.
Yep.
Or we can take this course, because Becca was hearing this from her clients. We just want an assistant that can just get up and do everything. So we have our basics course that launched in August, which we were all together for, which was really, really cool, because we have Sarah, who's Dragonfly Reads on Instagram. She also does Hello Lovely. She's on Becca's team. That helps us a lot too with that. So yeah, it was just cool to be together as a team to launch that. We're working on our advanced course now. So we're we have a day in a life on our Instagram or on our Patreons that we do behind the scenes stuff. And you really get to see how much we bounce back and forth between one project or the other, one author or the other.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we have this, we have our YouTube, we have Forever and Always, we have social media for us.
Always doing something.
Always. And that's why audiobooks have been more for me, because I can sometimes listen while I work if I'm doing graphics, or if I'm doing menial tasks that don't really have a lot of brain power that I need.
Yeah.
I can listen.
Did you say graphics?
Yeah, graphics,
okay.
social media, newsletters, stuff like that. So it's just interesting that we created this to help people literally take that first step. We market it that way, but it's literally for that.
Yeah.
Literally for that. You take it, you have it's basically a recommendation too. It's a stamp of approval, because there's nothing like this in the romance community.
Yeah.
And we think that's why I think Becca was a genius when she told you, I want to do this. And she was like, dang, I have an idea. This is where we can help you, but also help everyone else.
Yeah. And we want to expand it, because we want to be able to match people with authors and offer these courses for authors. So there's a lot of different plans we have.
Yeah. But also we have other content creator friends that have reached out and was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And so it's nice to be able to try and give them advice too. But if you're just a listener and you're like, ooh, I'm a fan of this author, it's hard to reach out. It's how do you reach out when you might not have relevant experience, I say, but it's what do you do for your job? Are you an assistant at your job? Do you work in the corporate world? Do you answer emails? All of that is relevant experience that can be easily transitioned. And the way that you word it on I wouldn't call it a media kit. It's mostly just your services page. You don't even have a website. You might not have to have a website. We prefer that, but that's more when you grow. If you have an Instagram, dedicating a post to Instagram so people can share it. It's just, there's so many different steps you can take.
And so much of this industry is word of mouth. So many people that I know have gotten jobs in the industry. They might have posted about the author and they're like, hey, I need help with this. And you're like, oh yeah, I can do that. And they ask people that they know follow them. And we talk about it in our course, but it's really important that you actually genuinely enjoy the authors that you're working for.
Yes. Because most of the time it's you will maybe go to a book signing and you have to know on the fly their books. Someone says, I want a fake dating. It's oh, well, this one has it in this series and this one has it in this series. You have to be back and forth.
And you are going to be reading their books, at least me. For one of my clients, so I do a lot of different things for my two clients, but one of them I do a lot of their social media and I help with marketing of older releases and new releases. So they'll have a sale, I'm going to pull stuff. I am rereading her books over and over and over again. So you are going to be literally living in these authors' books.
Yes.
So you're going to want, and I was interviewed by another author and she's like, what's your favorite part about working for an author? And I was like, honestly, I love seeing the author I work for succeed. I want them to do so well, and I get so excited watching them being able to do well and knowing I'm helping them. So you won't have that same drive if you're working for someone you've read maybe 2 books and you didn't like them. You don't want to, that's not fair to the author. That's not fair to your work. I mean, it's not to say you can't do good work for an author you haven't read or don't enjoy, but it's a whole new experience working for someone you actually genuinely do enjoy and want to support.
Yeah. And sometimes though, you think, oh, I don't know, really high profile author might not need an assistant. That's not true. We said, they
might need more help.
Yeah. They might want to focus more on writing. So they want to let go of X, Y, and Z, and they need someone to fill in for 10 hours a week and do that. So how many people is on one of the authors' teams?
Well, because then they also do little projects here or there they're going to hire someone for. And we know some people who they do have 10 clients. They're not working 10 hours a week for 10 clients.
No, yeah.
They're working oh, I have a project to do for you. So they'll hire out so many different things. So you might not necessarily be consistently working for the same person every month, but you'll be able to do projects here or there for different people.
Yeah, in Artemis, we just launched what we called the Quiver community. So if you didn't actually take the course, whether you missed it or you're waiting to see what feedback, because that's a very valid reason if you want to see if the feedback on the course is good or not, because it's it's an investment in yourself and in your career that you want to go forward. But the Quiver community is 3 months free and it's $12 a month after that. And it's a place where we post challenges to build your author services or your spreadsheet, or not spreadsheet, your PDF thing with all of your services, how to create teasers, how to do this, graphics, trends, looking at all this stuff. A place where you can just literally post questions if you have them and someone can answer it.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone can share the knowledge. If there are other PAs that have been a PA that want to do other things, people are new that want to be a PA. It's a place where everyone can go together and just like pile in their information. And like, because we've done the course, we can try and help. And it's more networking too. Networking is so important. And I didn't realize that until I started having my channel like as a content creator for like a year, like reaching out and chatting with people to do collaborations. Cause one, it's like you can, get your like word of mouth, get that there. If I see a content creator I follow that reads this book, it's like, that sounds good. I want to pick it up right now. Like that's how we work in content creation. It's the same thing with author services and stuff.
My teaching was very, very stressful, but this is a different kind of stress where I don't mind the stress because it is an industry I love. It's obviously still hard work. You're going to be putting in a lot of hours. Yeah. Like when I've been here, you're like, are you really working on something? I was like, literally, that's all I do is work.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't feel like work, especially like the YouTube stuff and like this stuff. Like we technically are working right now.
Yeah.
We're doing our podcast. And like we spent a lot of time this morning working on Forever and Always stuff.
Yeah.
And we are just constantly working.
Like you worked 5 hours yesterday.
Yeah.
On like client stuff.
Yeah.
I worked 3-ish hours yesterday for Becca. Then I edited a video for me. Like I go back and forth. So yeah, it's a different stress. It's a different life that I'm used to in corporate life. Like it's very structured, regimented. You have 9 to 5. That does not work for me. Let's talk about schedule because that's something.
You have to be diligent in your own schedule and know that you can accomplish what you need to accomplish. So my schedule would never work for you. But you know that. So I wake up at 6 a.m. every day.
Go through it. Just go through it. Tell everyone how crazy it is. Go ahead.
I wake up at 6 and I like feed my dogs. I let them out. Then I work out because it's very important in my routine. I want to make sure that I do that 5 times a week. I work out.
And you also have uninterrupted reading time.
Yes. Well, that too, because I've read so much less now doing this job than before.
Yeah.
I also didn't feel bad at school. I would just like spend my free period reading because I'd be like, I want to read, but like I don't have that now. Like I have to work. And so that's my uninterrupted reading time is my workout time because I have my iPad on the treadmill. And then I get ready for the day and then I get set up and then I start working and I typically chunk it by author. I don't like going back and forth and that gets too confusing because I work for like 4 clients now. So I spend probably like 2 to 3 hours in the morning on one person, shift to 2 hours to another person, shift to an hour to another person. And then if I have time, I'm typically filming between like 3 and 5. And then I have dinner 5 to 5:30. And then I'm working on YouTube or Patreon or something for myself for like the rest of the night. Yeah. So that is my schedule. And I like having my schedule.
That does not work for me.
But that's because I'm very diligent in how I work and I like having that. But you might sleep in, but you're working until 6 or 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Like you will know you get your work done.
Yeah. So mine is, it's kind of like based on things that come up. Like I have deadlines for projects that someone might need done by. And so I spread out my time that way. But there are some things that may come up that day. Like, hey, I need this done today.
Right.
So I have to put aside some YouTube stuff to the next day, which is why I'm so far ahead so I can do that. So yeah, my ideal day. Like sometimes, if you don't know this, I have a chronic illness. So that in itself is like its own thing that it can change how you feel when you wake up. Is it a good day or just a bad day? Like, are we doing stuff or are we not doing stuff? Are we doing it light or are we doing it hard? Like, it depends. So sometimes my alarm goes off at 8:30, 8:45. Sometimes I'm like, yes, I can get up and do this. Have my coffee, I get ready, have my breakfast. Usually I do that, eat and drink coffee while I work because I'm a slow eater. And then I start like with one tasks and I, log my hours and stuff like that. And then once I work for a couple hours, I go and edit a video to like clear my head. And then I go back and switch and I go like while it's exporting, go do something else. But there are some times where I wake up at 8:45 and I'm like, not feeling it. I cannot. If I try and get up and push myself, I'm going to have to take a 4-hour nap because I'm going to be just drained and exhausted. It happened while you were here, actually.
Yep.
And I pushed myself. And that was just an example. It's not like anything I did. I was having a flare up, just fatigue, whatever. So I'm grateful for this job that I have because I can do that.
Yes.
When I worked in a corporate job, I had to get up. Like, how do you tell a corporate job? I'm feeling tired today. Like, how do you tell them that?
They're like, too bad.
Yeah.
Go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just harder. And now I feel like I give myself more grace. So sometimes I might wake up at 10 and get my day started later, and I'm starting to work by 11, like really diving in. But I don't mind working till 6.
Right.
Because by 6, I will go to the gym at 6 with my mom. I meet her. We do a class together. I'm home by 7. I'll do a live show at 8. I'll take a shower, and then I have my uninterrupted reading time. And then I might stay up, depending, because I woke up late. I might go to bed at 1 a.m., but sometimes if I'm exhausted, I'll go to bed at 10. So it really all depends. And then I just, I've never missed anything. I've never missed a deadline because I can, in my schedule, I'm diligent in that. Like, I already know. Like, you have to be like a self-starter most of the time. You have to be okay with working by yourself. Sometimes depending on the author you work for, you have to be okay with having no direction, because it really depends, like, what the author and how they are. So there's, in the course, Artemis Literary course, we have a checklist that you go through with your author when you first, it's author, but I feel like it could be with any bookish professional. Like, what hours do you want me to work? This is my rate. What are your no-go times you do not want me to answer? Because Becca's West Coast. Sometimes she travels a lot, but like most of the time she's West Coast. She's 3 hours behind me, which is great for me, because when I wake up at 10 or 11, she's waking up at 7 or 8, and it's perfect. Like, that just is how it goes. But also, she's a night owl too. Like, she'll work later and I work later. So she'll text me, be like, hey, tomorrow, can you do this? I'm like, yeah, no problem. But if you have specific boundaries that you don't want anyone texting you, you have to set those down. You have to advocate for yourself with anything, no matter who you work for. Even with us, like with Forever and Always stuff, we have to like sometimes put boundaries down, because we'll work until 10 or 11.
Well, yeah.
So,
but we're also really good at knowing when we're feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So like, if you're like super deep into a project for Becca and you're like, oh my gosh, I like have to do like 8 hours of work today. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take on this tour.
Yeah.
Create all the graphics we need, send out the emails we need. It's totally fine. But like, if I'm like super stressed about something, you're like, let me know what I can do. Let me take this off your plate. So
like when I had COVID back in July, which don't even get me started. It took me 9 days to actually recover. And I was in bed for like 5 of those days. I could work for an hour and sleep for 4 hours. It was really bad. That was my first time having it. For anyone asks, that was my first time. And I was just like, what the hell is happening? Thankfully, Becca was like, sleep, because she's had it. And I mean, I feel like a lot of people have had it. So that was nice. And then you were like, I'll take on Forever and Always stuff. Yeah. And I was like, okay, because I was
like, don't even worry about it.
I could barely do my YouTube stuff. Like, when it comes down to it, if I can get one video edited, that was a success. And that took a lot of energy. So it's really nice that you have the flexibility. You literally make your own hours. You literally do your own thing. And this can also be part-time. Like, if you don't want to make it a bookish career because you have an actual like 9-to-5 job, or you have a different career that you want to pursue, or you're in school and you want money on the side, you can just work 10 hours a week for one author. And you can do it. And you can make it work. So there's so much flexibility. And like, I feel like people, I guess imposter syndrome, like, you can do it. You can definitely do it. It's possible. And you can put yourself out there. It just takes that one step, because that's scary too. But
we've been talking for 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you have any more questions, you can let us know in the comments or message us or whatever. We'd never mind answering. You can follow Artemis Literary. You can follow, Hello Lovely. You want to follow Hello Lovely if you want bookish merch. But there's like so many different things that you can do. Because like we literally do 2 different things. Like 2 different sides of it.
Yeah. And even like the coming years, we're definitely going to like be taking on new clients. We might be dropping some clients. Like, it all depends on what you need and what your clients need.
Yep. So it's just really cool that you can do that. So I don't know. It's just a really cool thing. And I'm grateful. I'm always grateful.
And it like lets us do fun things and travel. Like I got to go to Steamy Lit the week I would have been going back to work for school. And I was literally in Disneyland on their first day of school.
I remember you saying that.
So, like, a very surreal moment. I got to come and visit you because I left on Friday and I'm leaving on Tuesday. So that's 3 work days right there. I only got 3 personal days as a teacher. That would have wiped out my whole. And we're going to Vegas in a month. Yep. So
for a book signing, I was able to go. Brendan, on his birthday, he has a corporate job, but he took 2 days off because it was his birthday, and our birthdays are 2 weeks apart in September. And he was like, "Hey, I booked us a trip to Orlando just to stay at a resort and just hang out by the pool." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you can work from anywhere," which is true. I spent some of the day working. I worked probably less than I should have, but because I have projects, I either did it before or I did it after, and I still just maintained it.
Right.
And I told Becca, and she was like, "Do it."
Well, and like, so we were just chatting about when we would be working this week, and I was like, yeah, I didn't work as much. Like, I worked 5 hours yesterday. I typically try to get at least 7 hours in for my clients. And today threw us for a loop because things came up. And so I'll probably work a little bit at the airport when I get there. But I was like, yeah, I'll probably have to work a couple hours on Saturday. But that's fine. Like, I can adjust things and move around when I have to work.
Yeah, rather than not taking this trip. You just have to work a little bit on Saturday. It's really cool. It's a really cool thing that I never thought I would do. And like, I'll randomly text back and be like, "I'm so grateful. I love it." Yeah, it's
Who knew last year that we would be here?
Oh my God. I would have never thought it. But never ever. But I really enjoyed this episode. This was a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments if you have anything. Give us a rating wherever you're listening.
Thank you for listening to our Bookish Life, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.